In this series of videos, I'm going to do examples for motion in one dimension. Here is the first example. We have a ball dropped from rest from a height of 50 meters. We want to know how fast is it going right before it hits the ground. To begin with, I'm going to draw myself a picture. It's dropped from rest, so here's my ball. Here's the ground. I'm telling myself, look, V0 is 0. I'm also telling myself that this distance is 50 meters. And I'm going to remind myself that the acceleration due to gravity is downward. Now the last thing I need to do is define a direction as positive so that I am self-consistent. And I, in this case, am going to let up be positive. Next, I'm going to write a list of all the variables involved in these problems. I call this a grocery list. And I'm going to start filling it in based upon the information and the question. Okay. So, I'm told it falls 50 meters. It seems to make sense to me that to put the ground at 0, that means that our final position when it hits the ground will be at 0. And our initial position will be at 50 meters. Notice that's consistent with up being positive since it starts higher than it ends. V0y, I made a little note to myself, hey, it's dropped from rest, so that's a 0. Vy, I don't have any information on. A sub y is negative 10 meters per second squared. If you want to use 9.8, you can, but 10 does make the calculations easier. And I don't know t. So now I'm going to look at the question. How fast is it going right before it hits the ground? Because it says fast here, it is after a velocity. So we're looking for Vy. I'm now just writing out the constant acceleration equations just so that we have them to refer to and look at. What I want to know is Vy, which is sitting right here. In order to use this equation, I have to know V0y, which I do know. I need to know Ay, which I do know. However, I don't know t. So to use this equation, before I can find Vy, I have to find t. Let's look at the upper equation to see if that will help there. I know y. I know y0. I know V0y. I know a sub y. I need to know t. Therefore, I know everything in this equation except t, so I can use it to find t. Okay. So y is 0. Y0 is 50. Just plugging in directly from my list. V0 is 0. A sub y is a negative 10, so I'm going to move the negative sign out in front. So I have negative 1/2 times 10 times t squared. I'm going to simplify now. The first thing I'm going to do is move the negative, or the 50 to the other side. That makes it negative 50. And then I'm going to look at this and say I have 10 divided by 2, which is negative 5 t squared. So dividing by both sides by negative 5 gives t squared equals 10, or t equals the square root of 10, which is 3.16 seconds. I can now use my lower equation to find Vy. So V0y is 0. I can plug that in. A sub y is negative 10. And t we just found is 3.16. 10 times 3.16 is a negative 31.6 meters per second. Okay, what does that negative sign tell us? In physics, positive and negative signs tell us about direction. Okay? Because it's a negative 31.6, that tells me it's moving downward, which makes a whole lot of sense. I mean, we're dropping a ball here, right? It's going to be going down.